police records show the first call came in at 2:17 a.m. There was no screaming, no gunshots, just a whisper. A woman's voice, shaky but strangely calm, said, "Someone is inside my house, but they won't leave." The dispatcher asked for an address. The line went dead. At first, officers assumed it was just a prank call. That is, until they saw where the call had come from. The address belonged to a house that had been officially declared vacant for almost 2 years. No utilities were connected. No residents were registered. There was simply no reason for anyone to be inside. Still, protocol is protocol. 2 officers were sent to check it out. When they arrived, the house looked exactly how the city had described it. The lawn was overgrown, wild, and unkempt. The windows were boarded up, sealing whatever was inside from the outside world. The mailbox was stuffed with years of unopened letters, a testament to its abandonment. But as they approached, they noticed one detail that was horribly wrong. The front door was unlocked. They pushed it open and stepped inside. The air was thick and stale, smelling of dust and old, decaying wood. The beams of their flashlights cut through the darkness, sweeping across vast, empty rooms. There was no furniture, no movement, no sign of life anywhere. It was a dead house. Just as they were about to turn and leave, convinced it was a false alarm, their radio crackled to life. It was dispatch. Another call had come in, from the same number, at the same address. This time, the woman's whisper was more urgent. "They're hiding when you're there." The officers froze. A chill ran down their spines that had nothing to do with the cold night air. They exchanged a look and began to search again, this time much slower, much more deliberately. They checked the bedroom closets, empty. They cleared the bathroom, nothing. They made their way to the basement door, but it was locked from the outside. That didn't make any sense. Why would anyone lock a basement door from the outside in a house where no one supposedly lived? They forced the door open. The stairs creaked under their weight as they descended into the darkness below. What they found at the bottom was even more unsettling. The basement was clean, way too clean. There was no dust, no cobwebs, none of the usual signs of neglect you'd expect, just a single long extension cord snaking along the wall. It led them to the far corner of the room, and there they found it. An old telephone, plugged into a portable battery pack. It was still powered on, still connected, and the phone itself was still warm to the touch. The officers left immediately and logged the phone as evidence. Back at the station, the call was traced, and the truth began to unravel in a way no one could have predicted. The voice belonged to a woman who had been reported missing 18 months earlier. She had vanished without a trace. There was no suspect, no body, no explanation, until now. Detectives reopened her case with a new sense of urgency. They returned to the vacant house, this time with a full forensics team. What they discovered next never made the news, but it absolutely should have. Hidden behind the basement walls, they found crude, hand-cut false panels. Bay had been recently sealed, and inside one of them were handwritten notes. They were like a diary, dates, times, even names. All of them were labeled with the same chilling title, Listening Hours. The investigators began to piece together a disturbing new theory. The missing woman hadn't been a victim trapped by someone inside the house. She had been hiding inside the house herself for months, possibly even longer. She had been living between the walls, a ghost in her own former home. She would call the police whenever she heard someone moving round upstairs, but no one ever believed her. Her calls were dismissed as pranks or confusion. The police started questioning the neighbors. One of them mentioned something strange. Every now and then, late at night, they'd see lights flick on inside the vacant house. But by the time they looked again, the house would be dark and silent once more. The most chilling detail, however, came from the phone itself. Forensics recovered dozens of audio files from its internal memory recordings. The woman had made herself. In one of the last clips, her voice is barely audible, a faint, terrified whisper. She says, "They don't know I'm here. I hear them laughing upstairs. They come at night." This raised a terrifying new question. If she was hiding in the walls, who was living in the house? City records revealed another odd detail. The house had been sold, quietly, about 6 months earlier. It was a cash purchase. No mortgage, no inspection, all very off the books. The new owner never officially moved in. But the neighbors had noticed cars, different cars, parked outside at all hours of the night. Different people, always coming and going, always leaving before sunrise. The police suspected the house was being used as a safe house for some kind of illegal operation. But by the time they figured this out, they were already too late. When they returned to the property just a few weeks later, the house was completely empty again. The basement walls were ripped out. The phone was gone, and so were all of the recordings. To this day, the missing woman has never been found. But some officers will tell you something even more unsettling. That phone number, it still exists in their system. And every now and then, dispatchers claim it lights up their screen. There's never a voice, never a sound, just an open line, coming from different vacant properties across the city. And that's why police are trained to take every single call seriously. Even the quiet ones, especially the quiet ones, because sometimes the person asking for help is already inside the house. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more.